The no-holds-barred tournament to decide the future of the DC Universe continues to rage on as 32 competitors all lay it on the line to become the next King Omega. Who will win, who will die, and who will be pushed over the edge? Well, let's hop into the pages of DC KO issue number 2 and find out together, shall we? So then, in an interesting little turn of events, this issue once again returns to the wraparound story from the first issue, mainly the Trinity all hanging out together playing board games. In an attempt to try and make conversation, Bruce asks the other heroes what they think they would be if their lives were different and they weren't heroes. Maybe Wonder Woman would be a tour guide, she's always had a passion for history. Maybe Bruce would follow in his father's footsteps and finally become a doctor. Then there's Superman. Batman thinks that if he couldn't be a hero and he couldn't be a journalist, then he could probably be president. Though Clark himself is pretty adamant that he would never actually want that. Keep this in mind though as we continue on through the story. Now back in the present, we join the 32 assorted heroes and villains after making it through the breach. We learn via the Heart of Apokolips, which yes, we learned last issue is sentient, and in this issue we learn can actually talk and interact with the competitors, that the next stage of the tournament will be held inside an ancient white hole where time moves differently, but not just any white hole, the same white hole that Darkseid himself once long ago slayed the Elder Gods, on his own path to becoming the King Omega. And honestly, I like this idea that the tournament isn't just picking venues randomly, they're actually important to the history of Darkseid and the King Omega as a concept. And on that same note, if you assume that DCKO would be a bunch of fair one-on-one fights given the tournament brackets and all, you would actually be wrong, as we learn that the next round is going to be a full-on free-for-all as heroes and villains are given the opportunity to claim amazing, one-of-a-kind weapons that would allow them to turn the tide of battle. These weapons are of course all very familiar if you're a longtime DC comic fan. We got the Blue Beetle, Scarab, multiple Green Lantern rings, as well as even deeper cuts like the Psycho Pirate's mask and DC's Thor's hammer, which is totally a thing. What follows from here is basically one giant chaotic free-for-all as heroes and villains all try to rush their way to a weapon, as only people with a weapon will be able to move on to the next round. Superman, naturally still pissed about Batman's death in the previous issue, decides to make a beeline for Lex Luthor, who even at the end of the world finds a way to make everything very, very personal. Along the way though, Clark is sure to drop some covering fire with his heat vision in hopes of giving the other heroes the edge they need in battling the villains of the Legion of Doom. Of course, only one person can win this competition, and because of that, plenty of heroes end up coming to blows with each other. Like Wonder Woman, who knocks the ever-living crap out of Etrigan the Demon and even cuts off his poem in an attempt to try and grab the Atom's belt, only for Wonder Woman to come face-to-face with her own size-changing villain in the form of Giganta. In the end, all of this battling was for naught, as the Joker used this opportunity to swoop on in and steal the belt for himself, transforming into king-size Joker, who uses his newfound height to very quickly and very brutally take out several other competitors, including poor Connor Hawke, breaking my little Green Arrow loving heart. Though, in fairness, at least their deaths are quick and not nearly as hilarious. The same can't be said about Plastic Man, who they've made his death kind of a running joke in the Justice League book, and it's a gag that certainly carries over to here as well. Him and Metamorpho get into it, and at first Eel thinks that he has found the perfect upgrade as a new type of super elastic sulfate which can't easily be melted, well, except for maybe by its own chemical compound, which Metamorpho is all too easily able to riddle out for himself, winning the day. Though neither man are actually able to claim the God-Killer's sword for themselves, as that ends up getting snatched up by none other than the original Flash, Jay Garrick, who is running around the battlefield, more as a spoiler, trying to grab as many items as humanly possible. Yes, in this contest, super speed really does end up being a boon to whoever has it, which soon includes none other than Harley Quinn, who is able to grab a Speed Force ring for herself. And yes, I know the Flash's Speed Force isn't stored in the ring, but it is in this story, just go with it. Elsewhere, Superman finally manages to catch up to Lex Luthor so the two of them can have it out once and for all. Luthor has come prepared though, not only building in classic green kryptonite to his suit, but also several other colors of kryptonite to drain Superman's strength and make him a much easier target. Luthor had a lot of time to think about all of this while he was locked away in the new and improved Phantom Zone prison that's meant to be a lot kinder and gentler. Though clearly results may vary, as Luthor has come out the other end that much more vicious and also that much more creative, having crafted a blade that can cut Superman's freaking arm off. It's with this upper hand, both literally and figuratively, Lex takes this moment to do a classic villainous monologue, saying that he saw the perfect world when he stepped through the breach, one where he became King Omega. A world without war, famine, and corruption, a world that Superman himself also probably saw. The only difference is Luthor has the wherewithal to make this world happen. Where if Superman and his ilk won, they would just go back to business as usual, but Luthor is a changed man now. He knows people are scared, knows that the bottom has fallen out of the world, and that only he is strong enough, smart enough, and let's face it, egotistical enough to hold it all up on his own. If only he could see what a truly broken cup he was, and how no matter how much he tries to fill himself up, he'll always be empty. Now, believe it or not, the real MVP of this round of the tournament turns out to be none other than Jarro. He gets into it with Lobo, who boosted his own strength with Bane's venom, only to realize far too late that all of those shreds that Lobo ripped Jarro into can actually reform and become mini Starros, enthralling other heroes into becoming a full-on Jarro League to do his bidding. Damn, Jarro is really overpowered. Please nerf in the next update. It's after that we see Joker shrink down to microscopic size and actually kill Big Barda from the inside by cutting up her brain. Though, in fairness, she probably got off easy, as it's King Shark who loses in the most spectacular fashion as Vixen summons up the power of Dinosaur Island to imbue her with the abilities of a Megalodon shark, meaning that the guy named King Shark just got out-sharked in the sharking contest. Now, Star Sapphire ends up securing a pretty big victory by capturing all of the different lantern rings for herself, though she scuffles with Luthor long enough for him to steal away the black ring. Normally that wouldn't be a problem, because hey, who's he gonna bring back from the dead? There's no corpses. Everyone who dies in the tournament becomes statues, right? Only no, they have been fighting on an Elder God graveyard this whole time. Meaning that Luthor is able to raise a massive army of the heaviest hitters imaginable. If that wasn't bad enough, the clock is also quickly counting down, and Superman has yet to actually capture a weapon for himself. Thankfully, the Heart of Apokolips was also sure to say in classic game design there's also a secret weapon for anyone who is able to claim it by walking the path of Darkseid. At first that didn't make any sense to Superman until he remembered, wait, Darkseid got his hand cut off before too and died only to return. So risking it all with a crazy Hail Mary play, Clark grabs one of the pieces of kryptonite and stabs it into his own heart. In doing so, unlocking the secret hidden weapon, which you guessed it turns out to be none other than Darkseid's very own Omega Sanction. This probably would have been enough to wipe out Lex right then and there, but it's at that very moment the evil billionaire is saved by the metaphorical buzzer. It seems that this round is over and the 32 have officially been whittled down to a lean 16. But if this is what the Heart of Apokolips throws at them in the very beginning, then what other horrible twists and turns could be waiting for them around the corner? I don't know, but what I do know is as the comic comes to a close, we check back on in with the heroes who stayed behind on the Watchtower. At the end of the previous issue, it was implied that Darkseid might very well be among them, waiting for a chance to enter the tournament himself. Well, we can see that Booster Gold actually was Darkseid. And it's on that shocking swerve there the comic comes to a close. And so that was DCKO issue number 2, everybody, and I'm happy to say all the manic energy that the first issue managed to capture like lightning in a bottle is still very much true in the case here in the second issue. I'm actually really happy this whole tournament went for much more interesting and creative scenarios than just straight up one-on-one fights. I feel that that would A, probably get boring pretty quick, or B, descend into the worst kind of fan wankery. Though I'm certain that won't stop any power scaler from coming out of the woodwork to plead their case. Thankfully, I think this is where Snyder and Williamson really thrive. Yes, this is a tournament, yes, it's a fight to the death, but it's not always about who's the strongest, it's about who's the smartest, and quite frankly, who wants it more. Beyond that, the book absolutely looks great, is full of surprises, and I particularly enjoy getting to see heroes who don't normally get the spotlight get one very cool hero moment to show off what they can do under duress. Overall, I think I feel comfortable giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. So far, this has all been super cool, and I cannot wait to see what crazy trump cards they end up playing next. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.